two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies, and you know they are really groovy. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies, and we know they are really groovy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Two Guys and a Gal Talking About Movies. And today, our subject for today is Angelina Jolie. She of the pillowy lips and fantastic cheekbones, and daughter of actor Jon Voight. Born in Los Angeles in 1975. And Academy Award winner, actress, director, humanitarian, and also a bit of a controversial figure with some of her, with a few scandalous things going on in her private life. Like her on again, off again romance with Brad Pitt and all that. But we're not here to talk about all that stuff. We're here to talk about her movies. So, joining me to do just that is my co-hosts, Rory, the man of a million, billion, quadrillion voices, Penland, and Elana Lang.
Popcorn.
Hi.
And the wonderful Elana Lang, the invisible Elana Lang.
The voice of Elana Lang.
The voice.
The voice.
So anyway,
popcorn looks good, Rory.
yeah, I'm always a little jealous.
If you could see closely, a lot of the kernels are like broken up and they're real small.
Yeah.
So that's what you get when you buy the $1.25, bag of cheese popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I like the color though. The color looks like it probably tastes good.
It's good. It's just, it's a lot of little kernels, so it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Angelina Jolie. Anybody who has some thoughts on Angelina Jolie? Elana?
You said we weren't going to talk about her and Brad Pitt, but of course we're going to talk about her and Brad Pitt.
Oh, I wasn't going to.
Well, you almost kind of have
and
to.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah.
I thought that was more scandalous.
Yeah,
her and Billy Bob Thornton and getting tattoos with him, and then moving on to Brad Pitt.
And now she's
upgraded.
like an ambassador.
Yeah.
She's really grown up. So that's she does a lot of good in this world. She has a number of children who are adopted from different countries where they probably wouldn't have had the life, that they could have with her. And so I think it's really amazing. Like, yeah, she was wild when she was younger, but she's really turned into quite an impressive and inspirational woman.
Yeah, and that's the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my view.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, let's get right into the countdown then. And this time, why don't you start us off, Rory?
Me?
Yes, you, Mr. Popcorn.
You and your popcorn.
All right. Usually we go ladies first, but okay.
I want to change it up a little.
That's okay.
This was a tough list to itemize, to be honest with you. But the one I think I got the most enjoyment from was Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay.
With her and Brad Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's where it all began. So.
Yeah. And really dark comedy, fun script, fun movie to watch. They're both, assassins. And She marries him as a kind of a cover, not realizing he's an assassin. And that comes out about 30 minutes into the picture that they're both assassins working for different companies. And it's a fun movie. It's a lot of fun.
So is that movie a remake?
It seems to me that I had read somewhere, it was a remake of another movie from
Okay, that's what I
way
thought.
back
And then I think they've remade it since too, but I can't.
There was
verify.
there was or is a TV show
Oh, okay.
on the same premise. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I didn't watch it for the show, but I've seen it and it was really enjoyable.
And then there's
Yeah.
two guys. Are my
Well,
lips
that's
on?
a whole different. Yeah.
By the way, did you say that Angelina Jolie has pillowy lips?
Pillowy
As in
lips.
Mike Lindell, Pillow Man, pillowy lips?
Well, I don't know. But yeah, it was either that or puffy lips, but pillowy
Puffy
seems
doesn't sound flattering.
exactly. Pillowy sounds a lot more
Yeah.
flattering, and
You can get puffy
you know,
lips just by getting punched the wrong way.
well, that's true. Uh, and it seems like for a time there were a lot of actresses who were undergoing, getting lip filler and all that,
Yeah, like
making their lip.
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, exactly. You look, you
Oh,
look
she's
like the 4th of
wonderful.
July.
She is.
I just love working for Old Navy.
I love that woman. She's so funny.
Yeah. Elana, what's your number one?
Okay, well, so I did something a little different. Um,
Okay.
Instead of doing all of her movies, because there are a lot of movies, what I did was I revisited her first movies.
Okay.
Because I saw them all in the 90s, and that is from 1995 to 1999.
Hmm.
And I rewatched them and came up with 5 that I thought were a good representation of her starting out in movies. Her first movie was 1982 with her father,
Hmm.
but that doesn't really get that much attention. And then there was another movie that looked like it must have bombed. So I started the first one that I'll talk about, the first movie that was her, she got accolades for was Hackers in
Hmm.
1995. And I don't know if you guys saw that movie or if you
Yeah.
remember that movie, but it
Oh
was
yeah.
very characteristic of the time. A couple years later, The Matrix came out, and there was a slew of these hacker movies that made,
Hmm.
these young kids look really cool because they could hack into systems. And it was kind of fear of what was coming, but also excitement of what was coming in our lives. Because in
Hmm.
1995, technology is definitely not what it is like now. So she plays a teenager who is one of the hackers in a group of hackers, and everything's very vibrant and it looks like you're entering the computer world, and it's high tech for 1995. And it was a lot of fun. It was a fun movie. It was also fun that they go into computer land and they like
Hmm.
move things around, but then they answer the handheld telephone attached to the wall. And so I
Yeah.
also love that part about, starting with her first movies, because it was a wonderful, nostalgic experience for me. And you feel like you're in the 90s, very, very much so. So
Hmm.
yeah, Hackers was fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, it didn't date well.
No,
No.
no, but
As
that's
most
like
technology movies from back at that time don't. You watch the
no,
computer
like I
graphics
saw
and stuff.
Tron. When
Um,
Tron is just I mean, so much of it is so silly now, but one of the nice things about being in your 50s and revisiting movies that you saw in your 20s is that you remember what that was like back then. And
Mhm.
that part for me might, it might look silly to other people, but when you remember that, it really is nostalgic, like how we felt about the introduction of the ability to hack into other computers. I mean, that was not
Mhm.
something really that, I was kind of wondering why they glorified it so much. But
Well,
because the kids thought it was cool at the time.
yeah,
yeah, it was,
absolutely.
yeah, because it's really all that hacking stuff, that computer stuff. That's it's even I think to this day it's still kind of seen as something that young people do. That young people are good at. You know,
Well, I mean,
young
we weren't born into it, like
right,
I
yeah.
1995, I was already halfway through college. So, I mean, I didn't have my first cell phone until before I moved to New York City. And that was like, I remember all my friends calling me a yuppie because I was one of the first people to get a cell phone. That was in 1997. So
Hmm.
it was not clear exactly what all of this technology would mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that you look back and the internet became a thing in 1989.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, I remember it started with me. Somebody told me about the internet and how I can hook my computer to it. And then they told me about eBay. eBay was the first thing I got into in
Hmm.
1999 on the internet.
I
And then,
used
like
to
everybody
love
else, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I used to love. We used to get that disc in the mail from
So AOL.
AOL, and I
AOL.
loved popping in and out of the chat rooms. That was like such a big
Yeah.
deal
Yeah.
at that time.
Those things were everywhere. I mean, checkout stands. Yeah, you got it through the mail. They were in magazines. I mean, of course,
I
I
was
think
lucky because I
You
they
had
got mail.
access early because of when I went to college. I started college in '92, and most people didn't have access, and I had access to a lot of like higher education websites, and so I
Mhm.
had more access than most people did. And I think also it's common for people around our ages to forget that people didn't really have cell phones until the late 90s, and the
No.
internet wasn't. What is it? You would play that game and you would like always die because you got dysentery. And like
Oh,
that wasn't that long
Oregon
ago.
Trail.
Right.
Oregon
And
Trail.
you
Yeah.
think, oh my goodness, that's like from the 60s. But like no, that was in the,
Yeah.
90s. So hi
Yeah.
Sandy.
Hey, gang.
Hey.
Hey, Sandy. Hackers also had, I want to say Johnny Miller
Yeah.
from Train Spotting.
Nice.
Scottish
Was he
kid, but he
the
was doing,
main the main kid?
he's the main
Yes.
character, yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Lee
Um,
Miller. Yeah.
Johnny
I
Lee Miller,
really
that's it.
I
Johnny
like
Lee
the
Miller.
characters and I like the acting too. I
Yeah.
didn't recognize most of them, which Train Spotting is great movie. Highly
Yeah.
recommend it.
Oh yeah. And also Matthew Lillard, who went
Matt
on
Lillard
to
is in it, and
yeah,
Fisher Stevens
and Fisher Stevens. Yeah.
Oh
was
my
The
was a
goodness,
villain in
that's
it.
the
right.
bad guy. Yeah. Yeah.
He's the bad hacker.
Hmm.
Wow, yeah.
And he, ironically, he was the little guy in Short Circuit.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Johnny 5 Yard Alive.
Hmm. Yeah. And also, and I guess I don't know. Maybe some people. This is Johnny Lee Miller. Angelina Jolie married him later on,
Mm.
or after the movie, and so they were married for a while. Uh, and then, of course, they divorced, and she moved on to Billy Bob Thornton,
Billy Bob
Right.
Thornton.
and then moved on to Brad Pitt.
I like me some Angelina and some biscuits and mustard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. I carried her blood in a vial here in my neck. Uh,
Oh yeah, the two of them were like
yeah.
Weird.
they were wild.
It was it
Yeah.
was it was a bit weird. Yeah, yeah. Everybody was like,
But
they
then,
did they did what now?
that is that is really cool to see who she was back then
Yeah,
and who she is now. I mean, now back then I thought that she was ridiculous. And I mean, I'm living kind of a similar life, just not, celebrity, because I'm in college and I'm dating, random people, and I get that. And it's good to get that out of
yeah,
your system. And then,
yeah,
she's grown up to be so have such an impact on the world.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was really nice to see.
yeah.
So what was your number
Well,
one?
my number one was a little bit another. It was Tomb Raider. It's Laura Croft Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. Okay.
Uh, and it's probably, I would say, one of the more successful video game adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have as many movies as probably the most successful one as far as number of iterations, Resident Evil. But yeah, I just because I was a fan of the game first of all,
Mm.
and I played the game, and when I heard that Angelina Jolie was going to play Lara Croft, I thought, oh, wait a minute, she's not British. But I went to see the movie, and just from watching the trailers, and I thought, okay, well, let's give it a shot, and I just loved it. I thought it was really good. Uh, her accent, I mean, I don't know if it was spot on, but I thought it was really, really good. I mean, certainly better than Keanu Reeves. So that's uh, but but no, she was very good, and it had an early performance from Daniel Craig
Daniel Craig.
as her sort of partner. Even though it was kind of interesting. He's the English guy, and he has an American accent. She's American, and she has the British accent. Only in Hollywood would that work. Uh, but yeah, it's just a fun action little movie, and I think it's the first movie where she and John Voight got to work together again. Because I think they had a
After the
falling out.
1982, yeah.
Yeah, they had I think something about a falling out, or something happened, and they became estranged.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie kind of brought them together, for at least for a little while. They didn't have many scenes together, but they did have a few, and so and he played her father in the movie, and it's just a good little action movie. Uh, and it's fairly faithful to the game. Uh, I mean, and of course it has the. I know a lot of people said, "Oh, it's just a ripoff of Indiana Jones, except they put a girl in it." Well, yeah, that that
Yeah,
that's what
see,
the
that
game
was my
was.
problem with it. Is I just felt it was too Hollywood. I felt it was too, formula.
Yeah,
Um,
but
but
sometimes, I
yeah,
mean,
it's an enjoyable movie to watch. I mean, it's an
yeah,
enjoyable view.
exactly.
I
Again,
didn't
the
watch it.
characters in it are rich. Daniel Craig is. I can see why they would consider him for James Bond
Mhm.
after that and Layer Cake, which he started. That was his early stuff in his career.
Right, exactly. So,
Yeah.
It's so funny. Games to me are like Pac-Man and Paperboy. And like I don't play Tomb
Joust.
Raider. It's just too overwhelming, and like I never got into that. I
or
remember like one of my consoles came with a Zelda, and I was like, This is to just let me go collect papers or something. But I remember at the time it was this really big thing that she won that role,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of controversy, and yeah, I wasn't really involved because, again, like I will watch a Pac-Man movie, I guess. Like, I don't know who Laura Croft is or anything,
Pac-Man,
but
the movie.
it's like you couldn't go anywhere without having conversation about, oh my God, is she okay to be Tomb Raider? Like, I
I
don't
no,
know.
I think she nailed it.
Yeah.
I think it was great casting.
I didn't
And
think
I'm
I didn't have any
surprised that
problem with her doing it because again, she
yeah,
was very big at that time. I understand Hollywood, and yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, that like she just took off after that. That was,
yeah. I think that really
most
made
of
her
the
even more.
movies that I'm doing predate that,
Hmm.
so like it was this set of movies, and then that was a very big change in her career and
Yeah,
really brought her the recognition that that she has.
yeah. Well, unfortunately, the follow up, the second movie, Cradle of Life, I guess it didn't do as well
Mhm.
because they didn't make any more after that. There were no more until 2018 when they kind of rebooted it, but with a different actress.
mm,
Uh, and you know, but even though that was based on some of the newer games, uh, but anyway, yeah. But I enjoyed her in both films. Of course, I like the first one better than the second one. I have to admit.
yes.
But anyway, so that was my number one. So Rory, what's your number two?
Um, I, again, this was a tough one to kind of chronicleize, but I went with Maleficent for number two.
Okay,
Maleficent.
Maleficent.
Um, I thought her performance in that was a lot stronger than most of the other performances, even under all the makeup and and the teeth and everything. I just enjoyed the spin that they did on that, where Maleficent was not so evil as she was portrayed in the cartoon.
Hmm.
But you do see this evil scene where she puts the curse on the princess Aurora. Um, I hated uh, Ellie Fanning as Aurora. I don't think she was good as Aurora, but I as a Angelina Jolie character movie, yeah, it's high up as far as her performance. Yeah, no, not a good special effects.
Hmm.
Without seeming too special effecty, Hollywoody. I hate when I'm aware of the Hollywood influence in a film.
Mm.
It just drives me nuts. Seeing people pitch. Okay, now listen, we get Angelina Jolie to play Maleficent, and I didn't get that with this as
Yeah.
much as with Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider films. Um, uh, the first film she actually got to, she started out with Gia, the TV movie. Um,
Hmm.
it was an HBO movie, a lot of
Yeah.
nudity and hot, like softcore porn sex. And with Angelina Jolie, that's a good thing. And we get some of that hot steaminess in Hackers too early on,
Yes.
but she's playing a teenager. The first film I felt she really was a grown up was The Bone Collector, and that
Hmm.
had one of the worst freaking endings I thought of a movie. I hated the ending of that film. Anyway, even though it's a happy ending, which I like happy endings, but it was just, I was like, really? That's the best you could come up with? Really? Okay. The serial killer does this. Okay. All right. All right. So I think that's a weak one for Denzel Washington. I thought she did good in it, but it only gets an honorable mention. But that's the first one she actually got to play a grown up. You know,
Hmm.
she wasn't being like teen fodder.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
You know, So that deserves a mention for that. Is it was kind of her, I won't say breakout film because I don't think it did well at box office, but it allowed her to be a grown up, to be, an adult actress. And again, she shows in that film that she's got the acting chops, that she can do a good job alongside great actors, you know. So, but Maleficent, yeah, was a delightful movie. One of the few live action Disney films that I really liked. Most of my, I was like, why? Why did you do this? The animated version is so cool. Why?
Mhm. Mhm.
But with this, I actually like the spin that they did on it, where Maleficent actually kind of has a heart. She's not so all evil,
The
and
heart
they
of a
show
little girl
reasons for
in the
why
trunk.
she's the way she is.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly. Exactly.
is that the telling of Sleeping Beauty?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
yes. And she starts out really nice, wood sprite, winged wood sprite, and then man just encroaches on her territory, and they're just mean and nasty and wicked, and she has to fight, and they make her kind of who she is and why she hates them, that kind of thing. We get reasons.
Mhm.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Again, the same was with Lara Croft. The second one, not as good as the first one. It's okay,
Yeah.
but the first one, it's different.
Person.
It's
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
fresh.
Yeah.
So that was my number two.
All right. All right, Ilana, what's your number two?
Okay, so my number two is the next one uh, in the line of her initial movies, Foxfire from 1996. And I have to
Mm.
say that this movie actually meant a lot to me, and I couldn't wait to see it again. It's very much about, well, it's about, girls, teenage girls being taken advantage of by teachers, and this mysterious girl, Angelina Jolie, they call her Legs. She comes in and she shows these, girls that they have to stick together, and they form kind of a group, and they do some crazy things. But at its heart of it, people, I think, forget what it was like. I mean, there was a lot of misogyny in 1996. There was a lot of homophobia. People forget that it lasted that long, but it did.
Mm-hmm.
And I always really appreciated that movie because most people have forgotten that movie. And I don't even know how many people saw it in the first place, but it really is very important, especially in our society. Like, I keep hearing lately, about women getting put in cabs by themselves, by their friends, and then something awful happens. And really, like, this movie kind of taught me and my friends how important it was to stick together. And nobody is the last one standing at a party. You all leave together, you all get in a cab together, you all get in, what you kind of, what a sisterhood is and what you kind of owe to each other. The other thing I really love about this movie is that it deals with so many things that weren't necessarily dealt with in movies in 1996, like their homoerotic overtones. And they really, this is, the camera loves Angelina Jolie, and it's very easy with these initial movies to see why she became such a big star. And you feel, I don't know, it's almost like inspirational in a way that that this is, yeah, you're living in a dangerous world, but you you form groups and you have your sisterhoods and you take care of each other. And I remember that was a really big thing. I mean, there were, women who were being assaulted in front of, my dorm. There were, groups of people that, I mean, it was dangerous to be on the fringe at that time.
Mhm.
And there was very clear fringe. I mean, if you either fit in or you didn't.
Mhm.
And I think this is a really important movie in a lot of different ways. So I was so happy to get to see it again. I also want to give a shout out to the absolutely amazing soundtrack with people like Johnette Napolitano from Concrete Blonde and Kristen Hirsch from Throwing Muses. At that time, that was where, I mean, I was a DJ in 1991, so for me it was a little bit different.
Mhm.
But at that time and in the 80s, you got your music, there was mainstream music, and then there was things that you were never going to hear. And watching these kinds of movies open doors to musicians and genres of music that you would have no other way of hearing. And
Right.
it is so important because I don't even know, there are a lot of people who don't even know who these people are now. and
Yeah,
not only then,
unfortunately.
and
Yeah.
they created some of the best music. I mean, again, I was a DJ from 1991 until 1998. And music is so important. So I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you think about like Pretty in Pink, that was one of the biggest movies that we started learning who like the Smiths were, and the Psychedelic Furs and all of these musicians who weren't available any other way. But at this point, I mean, they're the ones that shaped
Mhm.
music. So I really like this movie. I mean, it's definitely not one you're gonna look up on Rotten Tomatoes and it's gonna be like 100%. It's probably gonna be like 20%, but ignore that. It is well worth seeing.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I gotta admit, I haven't seen it, so but from your description, now I want to see it.
It's a really quick watch. It's really fun, and they make sure that even though it's dealing with a lot of difficult subjects, that
Mhm.
that it is an enjoyable movie. And I would say, Rory, you probably would like it. You get different things where people are partying, and partying in the sense that like the girls are jumping around having fun, and it's an extremely enjoyable movie. And I don't think I realized how important of a movie it was until watching it this time, because it is so enjoyable.
Cool.
I wrote it down. I
Yeah.
remember there was a movie called Firefox with Clint Eastwood
Yeah, that was another
stealing
That was
a
a
movie.
Russian
different, yeah.
plane. It
Yeah,
was like a 3-hour movie.
they were like in airplanes. Wasn't Firefox like some kind of
Yeah, he was stealing a stealth
airplane?
jet from the Russians.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, this movie was actually kind of a little difficult to find because there were a couple other movies that were called similar things. And again,
Yeah.
this movie, I guess, it is very, very, I guess I'd say cult movie. Not very many people saw it. Not many people, know about it. But it's it's people should go find it. It's definitely well worth it.
Okay. Well, I don't know if Sandy's still here, but to answer her question, the eyes are Angelina Jolie. She's behind she's our background picture.
She's
So
watching us
she's watching us
with her
on
pillowy lips.
and bedroom eyes. Anyway, sorry, fantasizing. Uh, anyway, my so my number two is also Maleficent. Uh, and everything that Rory said is exactly how I felt about it. It's a great performance. I I like when Disney doesn't just remake their old movies, but actually gives us a different take on it, a different perspective.
Mm.
Uh, I like Cruella with Emma Stone, where we see Cruella de Vil and how she becomes a villain.
Mm.
I don't. It's Maleficent is, I think, the better movie, but they're both along the same lines. We get to see how the villain becomes a villain. What leads up to that moment where they decide, the heck with the rules. I'm forging my own path here. But yeah, um, Angelina Jolie, perfect casting for this movie. They really, I don't know if it was makeup or what, but they really emphasized her cheekbones in that. Her outfit has just become a cosplay staple and a great Halloween costume with the horns and everything. Yeah, the sequel, not as good, not terrible, but not as good. So anyway, that's I really don't have much more to say about that. So let's move on to number three then. Rory?
Uh, Probably her best performance um, in her career, I feel, but not a huge success film wise. It was The Changeling, where she plays. This is based on a true story. It happened back in the 20s, where a mother lost her child, and the police give her another child back and said, "This is your son," and she's like, "That's not my son," and it just kind of snowballs from there. And a very traumatic uh, movie. She gets thrown into. Uh, I don't want to say an asylum, but yeah, I mean it's a
The
place where,
psychiatric hospital. Yeah.
yeah, psychiatric hospital where she has to take medication, and she didn't do anything wrong. She just refused to accept the fact that the police didn't bring her back the right kid for her son, and that's very traumatic, for a mother who's lost her son and she wants to find him. So it's directed by Clint Eastwood, and it's it's an amazing drama, and she really, uh, yeah, chews up the scenery, playing the mother in it, and yeah, I had to put it in the middle of my list
Mhm.
because it's just such a damn good performance.
Yeah. Good, good. Uh, well, just it happens to be my number three as well,
Mm.
Oh wow.
for the same reasons. And yeah, Clint Eastwood directed it, and it's based on a true story. In fact, the writer, uh, J. Michael J. Michael Straczynski, who also created Babylon 5, a science fiction show,
Mm.
uh, he was I forget exactly where he was working at the time, but or he was doing some research or whatever, and he comes across, or a friend of his from City Hall says, "Oh, you're researching, like, I don't know, murder cases, whatever. It's like, here's an interesting story for you." And so he finds out about this actual event, and so for years he tried to get the movie made. Originally it was going to be like a mini series, but that fell through. And finally, it in fact, Ron Howard was originally slated to direct the movie, but he already had like two or three other things that he was working on, and so he couldn't do it. And so somehow it wound up with Clint Eastwood, who, when he read the script, was like, "Oh yeah, I want to do this." The setting. He loves said I love the time period, and the story just really excited him. And so he said, "Yeah, I'll direct." And and there were several other actresses that were being considered, but somebody said, a casting director, somebody said, no, you really should look at Angelina Jolie for this, and he did. He saw her picture, he saw, talked to her, and it's like, yeah,
She's got
she's
pillowy lips. I like
she's
that.
she's she's got the lips. No, she said she looked like somebody from that would fit into that time period. Uh, so
Can she have
and
children? No, good.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, actually, she
Funny
did have
Switch
children at
child.
the time. Yeah, no, not a missing child, but yeah, it was and also, of course, and some of the other cast is all great. John Malkovich plays a
Yes.
priest, kind of a crusading priest in there, and you know, uh, and also the character names. He didn't change any of the people, the main characters. Those are the real people. Those are the real names of those people. He said he wanted to be as close to the facts as he could, because he was
Deal with
such.
it.
He didn't want to Hollywood it up, as you say, and fictionalize everything. He said, no, I wanted to make it because the story is dramatic enough.
To hell with
He said
protecting the innocent.
without making it Hollywood. Okay, but I don't want to take up.
No, I'm glad
I
that
didn't want to jump in on.
I'm glad that you both spoke about that movie because I haven't.
Oh, I
I
think you'd
never
like.
saw it, and it
Oh, you would.
sounds really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you would
Now,
like it.
yeah. Now,
You know.
it's not to be confused with another movie called The Changeling with George C. Scott, which
I
is a
see
ghost story.
Scott.
That one's a ghost story. This one's
Okay,
actually it's just called Changeling.
I think that was my thing. Is I saw Changeling, and I was like, ghosts, not my thing. But this
No,
sounds.
it's two different. It's
Yeah,
two
I'm
different
gonna
movies.
look up Angelina Jolie Changeling because
There you
this
go.
sounds really interesting.
It is. It's a good movie. Yeah. So yeah, I can see why it wound up on both our lists.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Alana, what's your number 3
So
then?
my number 3, just going in order, 1998, Playing by Heart. And this movie is interesting because it was like a genre at that time. There were a lot of different movies that would take different people who you didn't quite know how they fit together, but by the end of the movie, you knew. So, like, Robert Altman was a big director at that time, and he did Shortcuts and some other movies, and that was so he was, I think it was 1995 or 1996. So that was a typical type of movie that was on at that or that was being made at that time. This movie, again, very, very enjoyable. The thing I thought that was so there are different couples, and she is young at this time. She's a year younger than me, so she would have been 23. Wait, 20 1998. Yeah, she would have been 23 at the time. And definitely she and Ryan Felipe, they're a couple in this movie, and they were my favorite couple. They both are just quirky. But the thing that's really interesting is that his character doesn't want to ever date because, and they don't exactly say it, but you know that it's because he has AIDS. And that was also very interesting to me because I was surprised that in 1998, and actually a number of other movies that are on my list of her early movies deal with the devastation of AIDS. And you think, well, that was an 80s thing, but really it wasn't, because in the 80s, I don't want to get too political, but AIDS wasn't really being taken care of. And it wasn't until the mid 90s when they had different treatments and medications that you could go on. So,
Right.
you know, thinking back about that time, it was a really scary part of the, you know, my 20s. And I really liked the way that this movie dealt with it, but didn't beat you over the head with it. But it was very clear that it was something that there are two characters actually that have AIDS. One passes away, and so you get to see the devastation of it. But the other one was, how do you try to have a relationship in the era of AIDS? Because, you know, people still weren't totally certain about what that meant and what you could do and how close you could get to someone. So, you know, I think that it's a very enjoyable movie, but I love that they're dealing with very topical things that were not really spoken about at that time. So,
Yeah. Cool.
and she's just, oh my God, Angelina Jolie is just like, you want to be your best friend. Like, she is, you see her on screen and you're just like, she's my new best friend. Like, she's just so
Nice.
appealing. And so the camera loves her.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Cool. Rory, what's your number 4?
Okay, my number 4. I had to switch 2 of them here. The Tourist was my number 4 with Johnny Depp. But really, it's the secondary character actors in the film that actually make the film so enjoyable for me. Stephen Burkoff, Timothy Dalton, Paul Bettany, they all play these characters that are kind of wound up in this story about a guy that they're all chasing, and Johnny Depp kind of steps in the middle of all of it, kind of like an old Hitchcock film. And Angelina Jolie, you know, is the woman that, you know, he meets on a train and he falls in love, and it's a delightful. I guess you would call it a dark comedy in a way. It's you know, suspense, espionage, that kind of thing. Actually, there's really no espionage. It's all about money that was stolen, and you know, people trying to get the money back, that kind of thing. But the Secret Service is involved, and that's where Bettany and Timothy Dalton come in. And Timothy Dalton is kind of like the M. He's the head of the organization, and Bettany's one of his agents, and he's an ex-boyfriend of Angelina Jolie's character, which kind of drives him. And yeah, there's some nice twists and turns, and it's a fun movie. It's a lot of fun. So that's my number 4.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it does sound very kind of Hitchcockian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Hitchcock plot. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
The Tourist.
I
The
always liked
Tourist.
Timothy Dalton too. I was wondering
Yeah.
what happened to him. I used to
Yes,
like.
Oh,
Timothy
he's still out there. He's still acting.
Oh, yeah.
He's still acting.
Yeah, he did Penny Dreadful a few years back, and then he did what's the Marvel Comics?
Oh,
Eh,
well, he did a TV show called Doom Patrol.
yeah, Doom Patrol. There it is.
Yeah.
So he's doing a lot of TV, which is good
Yeah.
because that's steady pay.
Yeah.
It's just not like a couple weeks work and then then you move on to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, anymore I really like I have a tough like it's strange. I have a tough time watching movies, and I really like series, which is funny because I mean that's way more of a commitment than like a 2-hour movie, but there's just something about that, you know, like I really love docu-series as opposed to documentaries. I don't know why, but but yeah, their TV is definitely not what it used to be. It used to be that like towards the end of your career, you'd be like, okay, fine, I'll do a TV show. And now like everybody wants to do a TV show. TV is just
Hmm.
remarkable with what you can
Yeah.
do with it now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And plus,
Um,
there's so many avenues now with all these different streaming services and what have you. So yeah.
oh
Right.
yeah. So my number four, which Rory mentioned briefly, was is Gia, 1998, and this is the only movie on my list that I hadn't seen before. And it is based on Gia Karanji, who was the first supermodel,
Hmm.
and I'm glad I saw it. It was interesting. Angelina Jolie's performance. Some people said it was over the top. I can see that, but it was good, and it was the first time we saw something like that from her, and
Hmm.
it was her first movie that she got critical success from and won a Golden Globe. So I thought that was interesting too. We start to see her getting more attention, and I like learning about people and things that happened also. And I didn't even know that in the 1970s, there was the first supermodel that was named Gia. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't say it was an enjoyable movie, but I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah. It's funny. I think I'm pretty sure Gia was really the first time that I was aware of Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
'Cause I hadn't seen some of the other movies before that, and I think I remember seeing like a magazine article where they were talking about, or maybe it was like a behind the scenes thing, where they showed pictures of the real Gia
Mm-hmm.
and Jolie, and holy cow,
Yeah.
she dead ringer. I mean, so perfect casting uh, for the role. And from what I understand, you talked about her being, or people saying that it was over the top. From what I understand, the real Gia was even
Gia was
more
over the top.
was over the top. So that
Right.
was
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually
absolutely. I think that's why it
so
didn't bother me because,
yeah,
I mean, the real
I
Gia,
didn't feel that
that
way.
was her point.
yeah,
That was a point
exactly.
of
She was
her, is that she
yeah,
was larger than life.
yeah, and it's another look at the modeling industry, at the industry itself. It was basically a critique of,
Yeah.
here's this industry that takes these very young girls, turns them into these household or household names or household images. They're everywhere, magazines, TV, commercial,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and you know, but really doesn't teach them how to deal with that, deal with the notoriety and the fame and
There's a
everything.
quote. There is one photographer that really loved her, and that's what he said. He said, this is definitely an industry that uses you up and spits you out. My
Mhm.
babysitter, when I was younger, um, her name's Kim Landis. She actually went to be she was a model. And I remember we were so completely excited to see her picture. So, like, we got all of the women's magazines when I was growing up, Glamour and 17, and we were just big on magazines. And we saw her picture and we were just like, Kim is so gorgeous in real life. Like, what did they do to her? She doesn't look like herself at all. And
Mhm.
Gia really touched a lot upon that about, when she's in rehab for drugs, because she had a very serious drug problem. I mean, her and that's one thing I really liked, is they talked about the schedule and how demanding and unrelenting the schedule. I mean, they really got into the gritty aspects of it, and they were not afraid of that. And that's why it's not an enjoyable movie, but I think it's an important movie to see. But yeah, they, somebody in rehab's like, I've always been told that that's what I'm supposed to look like, and that's not even what you look like. You're saying that to Gia, and it's so true. It's such a ridiculous. I mean, that's something I appreciate now, is that they're going after different body types and they're trying to be more realistic, because yeah, growing up, I was extremely anorexic for many reasons, but definitely one of them is that Kate Moss has the same birthday that I do, and so like I'm basically supposed to look like Kate Moss, and that's something that we don't really talk about very much. I mean, we still don't really talk about very much, is what people are told they're supposed to look like, and how you internalize that when it's just completely unrealistic. I remember like I had thighs and I was like, get smaller, and there were girls that were like taping up their thighs, and it's like, I think Janet Jackson got a rib removed so that when she sat down, you couldn't see like the little bump. Like it was insane, what images we were given as, teenagers and even younger. That's what you have to look like. And I was little, I mean, I was a small, petite girl, and I can't even imagine what it would be like for, people that were more diverse. So it's an important movie. I mean, it's definitely, again, it's not like you're gonna open up a critical review of it and it's gonna be the best movie ever, but it really had a lot of points that were very important.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right. So my number 4 is just not a very serious movie, and it's Salt. It's a movie called Salt,
Okay.
and it is an action movie. Uh, like The Bourne Identity and movies like that. And Jolie plays a CIA agent, an operative, who is accused of being a double agent by a defector. And, at first she says, well, no, I'm, but uh, there, but all the evidence, of course, points to her being a double agent. And so she basically goes on the run because now her own agency is after her and all this stuff. But which is the plot of dozens of other movies. But what makes it enjoyable is Jolie. Jolie makes the movie. Makes the movie. Her performance, the action beats. It's just one of those. You sit down, shut off your brain, and just enjoy the ride. That's all there is to it. But sometimes you need that. It doesn't always have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be serious. It's just an enjoyable little action movie. Uh, kind of along the lines of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or Tomb Raider, things like that. They really went, or later on, Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron is kind of along the same lines. And it's just cool to see a female actress or an actress in those action movie roles, because it's always the guy, it's always Harrison Ford or somebody, or the James Bond movies.
Well, they did that with Gina Davis.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the movie. It was
Oh, the
her
long,
husband,
the
Rennie Harlan.
long good night or something like that.
Yeah, Long Kiss Goodnight, something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah, with Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson, directed by Rennie Harlan, who was her husband at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's another. Yeah,
There was, I think it was called Wanted. There was a fun movie with Angelina Jolie, and I really like James McAvoy, which is why I went to go see it.
hmm
And I remember it was just really enjoyable, but there really is something about Angelina Jolie on screen. I think that no matter what she does, I am willing to follow her through a movie in a way that I
exactly.
might not be willing to follow somebody else through a movie.
Yeah. Well, Wanted. It's interesting you brought that up. Wanted is on my honorable mentions list. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
it
talk
was a
about
good
that.
movie.
Yeah. So Rory, what was your number fifth film? I
The
guess.
fifth one is Taking Lives,
Okay.
uh, where Bone Collector kind of blew it as far as serial killer shtick goes. Um, I thought Taking Lives had a lot more twists, turns, and fun in it. Ethan Hawke is in it with her, does a great performance as usual. The minute you see him, you realize, oh, he's the serial killer. I don't know. I would just go, yeah, he's that. It's him. It's him. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But interesting performance by her. Ending in a really bizarre twist ending kind of thing.
hmm
Um, and I'm not going to say anymore because you might not have seen it. You might, and you will. So, but again, much better than I thought than Bone Collector, and it makes the bottom of the list.
Okay. Elana, what's your number five?
Okay, well, keeping in line, 1999 was Girl Interrupted, and Girl Interrupted is actually based on a memoir
Mhm.
by Susan Kaysen, and that the lead was played by Winona Ryder,
Yep.
and Susan
It's her movie.
Kaysen was in a mental institution for teenage girls in the 1960s. And this movie won a Best Supporting Actress Oscar award for Angelina Jolie. This
Mhm.
was her first win. And I have to just throw it in there. 42 minutes into this movie, they recite my favorite poem, which is Resume by Dorothy Parker, which is the one about, razors are met, like all of the reasons why you shouldn't kill yourself, and then it's like you might as well live. And this poem, I'm a huge Dorothy Parker fan, and this poem has basically gotten me through my whole life.
Mhm.
um because it's true, and Dorothy Parker is just so cynical and just was so beautiful in her writing, and I love her. And I think that this movie, I saw it in my 20s, and of course I loved it, and I'm a big Winona Ryder fan. It was wonderful to see, 30 years later. Oh, oh my God, is it 30 years later? Is it almost 30 years later?
Yep.
Yeah.
25.
And it's just a really good movie. And I mean, they go through a lot of very difficult things because you see, the girls try to escape and then they are brought back and what happens to them. And there's a lot of stuff that's not pleasant.
Mhm.
And but by the end, you know, it's kind of a feel good movie at the end, which is good because
Yeah.
the journey to the end, you know, it makes you feel like you're kind of in there with them going
Mhm.
through, especially, you know, there's a death that happens, and you see, and it's just, it's pretty intense. And I remember there was a lot of you know, people spoke about this movie a lot. It was you know, I guess pretty controversial at the time, but
Mhm.
also you know, everybody who was in it, the performances were amazing. It's also wonderful. Brittany Murphy was in it, and you know, I miss her dearly. She was a wonderful I don't want to say a wonderful actress so much as, you know, again, the camera loved her and you would be
Mhm.
willing to follow her through a movie that you wouldn't somebody else. So there are, oh,
Yeah.
Clea Duvall is in this movie, Whoopi Goldberg's in this movie,
Mhm.
Vanessa Redgrave's in this movie. It's a really worthwhile movie.
Yeah.
And you know, I love this. You know, I love this whole experience of going back and rewatching these movies, and definitely it culminated in seeing Girl Interrupted again. So,
Mhm. Yeah. Well, interesting because my number five is also Girl Interrupted,
oh,
uh, and oh, also Elizabeth Moss is in it as well, um, who has been in a number of films.
mm-hmm.
Of course, she starred in The Handmaid's Tale for Hulu, um, and
You know, and I
Beautiful
love that
Man.
too. I love seeing actors from 30 years ago,
Mhm.
you know, and what they're doing now, and it's I just love that. You know,
Yeah,
I feel like you have a connection with them.
right. Yeah. Jared Leto is also in the movie. But yeah, so yeah, you have a slew of these young, up and coming actors and
Mm-hmm.
actresses like Jolie, Winona Ryder, who was already pretty established by that time, and
Yeah.
Moss and some of the others, and veterans like Vanessa Redgrave and Whoopi Goldberg. Uh, and I can see why Jolie uh, got the award. Her
Mm-hmm.
character, and there's just something about sort of rebellious characters that are very interesting because they're just interesting to watch. Even though she is really just batshit crazy in this in this movie. I mean, she's literally a sociopath, uh, and some of the stuff she does. You know, I was thinking about this earlier, and I thought, these are they're characters that you love seeing on screen, and you almost kind of root for them, but they're not people you would ever want to have in your life in real life. you
You
know.
know, that's so funny because what I was thinking when I was watching this movie was that none of them were crazy. They all are just different aspects of being a teenage girl. You know, like, yeah, being a teenage girl means, you know, being batshit crazy sometimes, like Angelina Jolie. And sometimes it means, you know, being in your room and hoarding things and not wanting to face anybody, like Brittany Murphy's character. And, you know, sometimes it's being rebellious. And, you know, none of them, because it also says at the end of the movie, you know, they all got out. And that really, I didn't, it didn't even occur to me the first time I saw it. But, you know, now with perspective, um, many years perspective, you know, I was like, I was all of those things. I think every teenager, maybe even men, male and female teenagers have those different aspects of their personality. It's just highlighted because of how emotional and crazy, that period of time is in your development. And they all are, in a, um, you know, being restrained and shocked and all of these different things. And it's interesting also because I read something that said that Lisa, which is Angelina's character,
Mhm.
was a real person, and that Susan Kaysen, who wrote the memoir that the movie is based on, she actually saw Lisa, um, many, many years later, and Lisa had kids, and Lisa was like a totally normal person.
Mhm.
And I just found that really fascinating that, you take these little aspects of your personality and you exaggerate them, like what happens when you are that age.
Mhm.
And anybody can seem crazy.
Yeah. Uh,
But yeah, I wouldn't want to have had to do any, I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere near Lisa while she was going through that phase.
yeah. Well, yeah. That was my point. That was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, and I think at the time, I think some people may have dismissed Girl Interrupted as being basically, oh, it's basically, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but with a bunch of chicks,
Mm.
that kind of thing.
Young
That's
chicks,
the
yeah.
feeling I
Young,
got.
young,
Yeah.
young girls, yeah.
Right.
But with
And
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you feel like all of those people belong in there. But in this one, like she said, you feel like a lot of them maybe just kind of got railroaded into there and they're
yeah,
taking the medication. And
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, it's interesting too that Julie made this movie, at a younger age,
Hmm.
and then the Changeling has a lot of the same themes,
Hmm.
Yeah.
women sort of being dismissed as being
Yeah.
hysterical or whatever. Although in that case, it's basically to cover up some corruption.
Right.
Men not wanting their authorities challenged, and so they came up with this excuse of, oh, she's crazy, and
Well,
just
that's
lock her
very
up.
appropriate. Yeah, that's very
So
appropriate
yeah,
to what's happening currently,
yeah,
in
yeah.
different areas of real life. So
Unfortunately,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
I think that was probably something else I really got from this was, watching these 5 movies from back then,
Mhm.
is how things really haven't changed that much.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's get to some honorable mentions. Rory, you want to start us off with that?
We've talked about most of them. Lara Croft, Hackers, Gia. We didn't talk about Original Sin, which is another one. It's kind of like softcore porn with her and
Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. Girl Interrupted. Good performance by her, but it was really Winona's movie, so that's why I
Yes.
put it down on this list. The Good Shepherd. Good performance by her. The movie directed by Bobby De Niro kind of drags, um,
Seen it.
but it's good performances. It is. She's got a cameo in Sky Captain, World of Tomorrow, whatever the hell that thing is. That's more visual than anything else. It's kind of Hollywood fluff. I got to mention Kung Fu Panda. She plays the tiger in those movies. And I've got a dishonorable mention in Gone in 60 Seconds, which is just a terrible. I call it Days of Thunder Light. Because
Yeah,
they both got Um, Robert Duvall playing just ridiculously silly, stupid characters.
Hmm.
He's just cashing in. He's just making the money. And of course, Nicolas Cage, doing his typical over the top thing. She's
Hmm.
completely wasted in it, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my dishonorable mention.
Okay. All right. Well, mine almost similar list. Wanted was on my list. Although it's really more James McAvoy's movie,
Definitely.
but uh, like Alana said, whenever Jolie's on screen, man, you are riveted to her, and it's just a great little part as the part of this assassin team or team of assassins, or cult or whatever you want to call it, that recruits McAvoy, and of course she's just cool,
Hmm.
just freaking cool, and plus you get to see her butt, so there you go. There's always a plus. Uh, so Sky Captain in the World Tomorrow. Uh, if she had been in it more, I think the movie would have been a success instead of Gwyneth Paltrow. I liked the movie. I thought it was. I like the kind of retro vibe of it. Uh, but yeah, I really liked her character. I wanted to see more of her, and unfortunately, the movie flopped for a lot of reasons. So, but
Less of
anyway,
Gwyneth Paltrow.
yeah, yeah, not one of her better performances. Original Sin was that pretty good. It was had I mean, yeah, it had that the softcore element to it. A lot of nudity, a lot of sex scenes, but a fairly pretty good story. Hackers and Gia are the other ones. My dishonorable mention is actually a Marvel movie, which is surprising because I love the MCU. Is Eternals, where she plays one of the sort of godlike eternal uh, superheroes, and not one of Marvel's better movies, and she's kind of wasted in that. Uh, and that's unfortunate. And that's my list. Ilana, do you have a list?
I don't have a list
Oh, okay.
because the way, because the way I did it, I thought about watching a couple other movies from this time period and
Hmm.
decided it was better not to.
I want to remember her as she was.
Well, no, I mean the other movies were like Pushing Tin and Gone in 60 Seconds, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
no, thank you. So,
yeah. Well, Pushing 10 is where she met Billy Bob Thornton, and then
right,
all that happened. But
yeah,
she's also directed a few movies as well. In the Land of I think it's the Land of Blood and Honey is one she directed, and there's a few, two or three others. But anyway, all right. Well, so that's our look at Angelina Jolie. Uh, Next time we will be discussing a
oh wait, Manny,
yeah. Oh, we were going to
how
talk
about our
about
new
documentaries.
segment?
That's right. Sorry.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you for reminding me. All right. Well, what is your lead us off with your
Okay,
picks for documentaries?
so we are going to be starting a new segment starting tonight, and there documentaries and docu-series have just taken over. There are so many people who are interested in them now. There are so many that are being released. So and I can't get enough of them. I just watch them all the time. So what uh we're gonna do starting tonight is each one of us will recommend a documentary that we've seen over the past couple weeks, because I believe Manny and Rory, you both watch documentaries very often as well. And So, you know, if you don't have one from the past 2 weeks, you know, tell us one that sticks in your head, and you know, we'll just go over one. I was thinking we'll go over one each, and
Okay.
that way, you know, it'll open the door for people to see what is out there and what they might be interested in exploring, because really it's a little overwhelming right now how many new documentaries are out there.
Okay.
So
So what are
should I
yours?
start, or
Yeah, go ahead.
Rory,
Go
do
ahead.
you want to start?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I have, I'll say 1.5.
Okay.
And I'm kind of surprised because neither of them are true crime documentaries. My first documentary that I'm going to recommend is It's Only Life After All. And it's the documentary that I believe it came out in 2023. It's the Indigo Girls documentary. And so we're kind of doing a 90s theme. I'm doing 90s theme tonight. And this documentary, I am a huge Indigo Girls fan. I've always loved them, you know, since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Their songs are just filled with incredible poetry.
Oh, yeah.
And I love songs that you're listening to, but you can also see at the same time. And this documentary is also, you know, it talks about their friendship. It talks about, you know, they've known each other since they were in, I believe it was 6th grade. They have a wonderful friendship, and you know, they're like family. It talks about their music. It talks about a lot of difficult subjects also, like what it's like to have been an out lesbian since,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the 80s. That was a very big deal. A lot of musicians hid, you know, their sexuality at that time. It was definitely not something was safe. It definitely had an effect on their careers. But you know, that's also why I think those of us that are, you know, why we appreciate them so much is because they were fearless, and their music also, the vulnerability and the just honesty in their lyrics is
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And listening to them talk about, you know, how they came to be activists, how they learned to be activists, how they um you know, they had thoughts about going to college or whatever else, but decided that they really liked what they were doing. And, you know, I could go on for a really long time, but again, it's only life after all. And I have difficulty saying that without singing it, because
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Yeah. Yeah.
lyric from Closer to
Closer to
Fine, which
fine.
is
Yeah.
one of their big hits.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, it's also interesting, from I was talking before about music and how in those days, the 80s and the 90s, you know, you only had mainstream radio,
Mm-hmm.
or you had some to, you know, different genres. I mean, everybody was in a different box. You know, you had your um you couldn't cross over, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
it was because they were not quiet, and you know, they were more rock and roll and a little bit of post punk. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they became even less mainstream, and because they were lesbians, they were even less mainstream, and all these different things. You know, it's just really interesting. And at this point, they've had a 40-year career, and it's a wonderful documentary.
Cool.
And then the other documentary that I actually just started, but I'm finding fascinating, is called Stutz. And it is a documentary about Jonah Hill, who has been in movies, I don't know recently, but I mean, he was in a lot of fun Judd Apatow movies when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
He sees a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist has different, I don't want to give too much away, but he takes a fairly logical approach to mental health, which, you know, there's certain people that have a very difficult time going to therapy, and I'm definitely one of them, because I don't want to just talk to somebody and have them like nod their head at me, and it doesn't really help. So the fact that, you know, this individual has come up with this logical approach to how to make yourself be more productive, or, you know, feel better in times that you don't, you know, there's more of a blueprint to it. It's not just, okay, well, I'm gonna talk about, what am I talking about, you know? So
Yeah.
I just started it, but so far it's he reminds me, so like my husband and my dad are both engineers, and there's a very specific engineer personality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very logical, and it's very like kind of mathematical.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I find comfort in that, and that's pretty much how I explore my own emotions. And so it's fascinating to me to watch somebody do that and have all of these tools and theories and plans that are actually more concrete as a way to approach mental health. So, you know, I'll talk a little bit more about it next time after I finish watching it. But so far, it's fascinating. It is STUTZ, Stutz.
That's okay. All
And
right.
I believe both are on Netflix.
Okay. Sounds cool. All right, Rory, what's your
Honestly, I thought we were going to do this as an episode, but I don't watch a lot of documentaries. Um, but I do like to watch one every now and again. I the my favorites are the making of, you know, certain movies, documentaries, which I really love,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
and the two that really stand out with me, because the making of the films were absolute disasters, and it shows just what these people had to go through to try to get the film made. Uh, One is called Hearts of Darkness, A Filmmaker's Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never seen this documentary, it's about the making of Apocalypse Now, with um, uh, Francis Ford Coppola damn near going crazy,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get the film made and get it put out there. He was riding high on the Godfather films, the first two, and everything that could have gone wrong went wrong with the making of
Mm-hmm.
that film, and he survived it. He got through it, and I won't give you any specifics on that. I mean, okay, I will. I'll give you a couple. Um, Martin Sheen has a heart attack early on in the film.
Mm-hmm.
The actor had a heart attack, which
Right.
means that they had to stop filming and start filming other things to kind of make up
Right,
for
yeah.
it. They started filming in a monsoon season, which made things very difficult. The press was calling it Apocalypse When. Um, I, and his wife, uh, uh, Gail Ann Hurd, I think is her name. She's
Mm-hmm.
producer. She produced a lot of stuff with Jim Cameron, and um, she was his wife at the time. They got divorced. She kept a kind of a video chronicle of everything that went wrong in that film, and that's what this documentary is made from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely amazing. It's riveting. The other one, very very similar, except on a kind of a lower level, is Doomed, the making of the Fantastic Four, Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, which was the original
Yeah.
one,
Right.
which you can only get, on bootleg tape, or DVD from people at conventions, and it became like
Hmm.
a cult classic, underground bootleg kind of phenomenon,
Hmm.
and the actors that were involved in it. Robert Culp's son plays Doctor Doom in it. Really, really good cast of actors. It is low budget. It was made for $1 million, one
Hmm.
million. That's all they got, and they had a certain amount of time to make it because the rights were going to go from the film, uh, and they decided not to release it because they could make more money just not releasing it. And it was all about the rights to the film and where they were going to go afterwards. And so all of these poor actors and directors and people that worked on this film, they made this movie, and it was a delightful romp, but it is low budget. It's a low budget
Oh
uh,
yeah.
Marvel film, so it kind of fits more in the category of those old TV shows like The Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Hmm.
and Red Brown is the original Captain America, on his motorcycle with his motorcycle helmet and stuff like that. But it's fun to watch, and again, to hear the pain and the suffering that these guys went through. Uh, uh, and again, somebody snuck a copy out, and that made more copies, and then again, it
Hmm.
started getting out to people at conventions, and uh, it has become this underground cult classic
Hmm.
that everybody knows about, who is into comic books and Marvel and all of
Oh
that.
yeah.
And the actors were just as surprised to find out that the thing had been released because they didn't have a copy. Not until they started talking to fans, and the fans were like, "Oh, I saw you in. Oh, really? How did you see it? Like, it was released." Uh, that
It's
one of
a
those kind of things. So it's
yeah.
that's a wonderful documentary on that.
Yeah.
And I've got some other documentaries I'll talk about, but again, since we're going to do this as a kind of an ongoing thing, I'll save those for later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So mine is another musical documentary, and it's a fairly recent one, and it's called and so it goes, the Billy Joel story, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
follow Billy Joel and his career from the early days up to now, and everything that he went through, uh, his relationships, his affairs, uh, problems with managers that wind up ripping off, stealing his money basically, or making off with his money, embezzling his money and all that, and how he came back from that. And it's just a really good, solid documentary on the life of this artist. And he's just one of these guys who never wanted to fit into a niche. He loves all kinds of music, and so different albums reflecting different types of music, and people are like, critics are criticizing him for that. Like, oh, now he's putting out he had a rock and roll album. Now it's a doo wop album. Now, what? So who is this guy? Uh, but anyway, it's a good documentary. Uh, with interviews with Joel uh, you know uh, and also of course chronicles his relationship with the supermodel that he married,
Brinkley.
and
Mm-hmm.
with Christy Brinkley, and there's interviews with her and why their relationship, why they wound up getting divorced and all that, um, and how that all started, and it's uh, so anyway, that's my
I
recommendation.
second that recommendation. That was so, so good.
Yeah, and I
I grew
believe
up
it's
with
on
his
Hulu.
music.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Um, I actually stopped listening to him because I thought he left his wife for Christy Brinkley, and that's like she left him.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause
And it just gave me such a, it was funny because what you heard at that time was, oh, he's becoming famous and now he wants to be with a supermodel. And like,
yeah,
that's not what happened
no,
at all. And
yeah.
it, one of the things that I loved about it is that he's a very quiet person.
Hmm.
And so all of his music and all the different genres that he's using, that's how he expresses himself.
Right, exactly.
I
Yeah.
love that documentary. I definitely second that recommendation. It is so worthwhile. Um, just fascinating, absolutely
Cool.
fascinating. He even did like um, he was classically trained and he
Hmm.
did a classical album, and I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I need to find that. So, anyway. All right. Well, I think we need to wrap this up. We've already, passed the
Oh yeah.
hour and a half mark. So,
Thank you
uh,
for both of you for coming along with my my new segment.
yeah, no, no, that's good. That's a good thing. All right. So next time, we will return in 2 weeks on December 8th, and our subject will be a classic actor from old Hollywood, James Jimmy Stewart will be who we will be talking about. So please join us for that. And until then, please subscribe or give us a shout out in the comments. Ring the notification bell. You know what to do. You've seen enough of these. So until then, have a good one, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you for watching this episode of Two Guys and a Gal Talking About Movies. Be sure to like and subscribe and ring that notification bell.